So today we are going to see what is the importance of the time entry template, what are the different constitute of a time entry template. All right. So that is one something that we are going to do today. All right. So let's take our employee. So the task to find the time entry template is view time entry template. But if in order
Mm-hmm.
to you want to have an idea of how many time entry template and what are the features of that time entry template is there in the tenant, you just need to do all time entry template. Okay. The moment you click on this, you will see the entire templates which are there for the worker. What is the default time entry code over there? What is the pattern? Every detail. What are the total tags? So let's take our employee. So this is the basic task that we use in order to find the workers who are there in the tenant, how to identify them, how to get those items. I don't have Logan McNeil. I have. So she is using project time, all right, and
Mm-hmm.
what we are going to do, we are going to simply modify this, all right.
So in real time, we need to create our custom, right? This worker uh, time entry template, cu-
Yeah.
the customization.
Yes, yes. In real time, we do. You will have to configure everything. In real time, you have to do everything on this part. You cannot change anything. All right. So, as this worker, for example, Logan McNeil, she is having this time entry template, okay, time card, kind of a visualization. So we have gone through these all pairs in and out, in pair, out pair, in out, meal break, create time blocks for breaks, copy work tags, all the items which were necessary. All right, restriction, require comments when we are changing any time entry. All right, so whatever the necessary things in terms of entering time. Okay, we have done that. Okay, so if we are modifying any time entry, okay, this is the time entry which is there. Okay, we need to add a comment over here. You see asterisk, a star mark over here. This is because we have added this time entry restriction. Okay, if anyone is modifying, then it needs to comment. Okay, and if we are deleting
Okay.
also, it needs comment. Okay, that is the one thing. Now when we are going to the next part, that is calendar. Well, we see a lot of things. I told you to mark everything. Quick add, enter by schedule, time by week, time by type, etc., etc. What it is? First, let's go to some of the items. All right. The first item, autofill from schedule, autofill from private. Autofill from schedule will do one thing. It will actually, so what is the work schedule that the Logan McLean is having? Work schedule for every day. From the work schedule calendar, it will fetch the values. From the work in time is 9:5:30 and this. So it fetched the value from there and I clicked OK. So what will happen right now? Every hours would be autofilled. All right. These hours are from the work schedule and these are got fetched. Okay. All right. Now, if you want to quickly add, quickly add is like you select the time entry type. What is the time bucket where you want to enter time? Okay. For example, I want to enter the time on training. I click next. I'll just add the fatafat. Quickly, I'll add the values like 4 hours, 3. No need to mention any other words. Okay. Rather than having each day adding, I quickly add the values. All right. You can see all the values coming. Okay. What we can do next over here is we can, if you don't want this values to be popped up, you can clear it. There are any changes, and if you want to make all the changes over here, you can clear all the values from here. All right. Now, there's a new thing that we can do over here. There's another thing that we can do. Enter time by time. What this means? Time by type. Okay. What you can do? You can add. You can see this thing. Okay. You click on here. You clear. You select the type you want to enter. Which area you want to enter the type. For example, we have time entry codes. Let's take example administration. You select 10 hours. Training 3 hours. You can have multiple hours on the same day also, so there is no issue on that. Okay. For example, I have added this. So what will happen? Whatever hours I've added on those particular days, on the particular time entry, all right, what will happen? It will automatically get fetched. Okay. This is time by time. Again, I'm clearing it. Enter time by week. You can have for the entire week schedule, and you can add your project time, or if you want to change not project time or as a for each day you will get, but the UI is little different. It is all the same code, but the UI is little different. Okay. All right. Review time means just review your time entries, review the time by week. Similarly, like let me show you. If any worker is entering time, he reviews his own time card. one second. The period schedule for this is which period schedule she is having. There's another no workers were found in the change filter criteria. So the manager is reviewing his workers, okay, and he can review his own time cards, okay. If he selected all workers over here, all right, that is the major criteria of review time, all right. But however, the managers do get a report which is known as time submitted and not submitted, and by that they can review all the workers who have submitted time, not submitted time, what is the hours they have submitted, all right. So that is been taken care by the managers, all right. So review time by week, run calculation. Run calculation is something the payroll also looks into this. What is there? All right. View absences. View absences is as of that particular date, what is the balances that they have. Okay, this can be seen over here. Whatever the balances is, it will show you the balances over here. This is a new feature. The balance is fluctuated. That is one of the reason of this. Okay, so this is
Yeah.
basically the calendar option which we find over here. All right, all the options. Now let's go to the next part, business process. Submit time by period. Time by period means it will look into the period schedule and submit the time as per the period schedule start date and end date. Okay, it will include all the dates. Okay, submit by period means, for example, my period schedule is monthly, like 1 January to 31st of January. So when I submit the card, it will submit the card for the entire month. All right, if you click on this part, okay. Independent of events for multiple jobs, in Workday we have multiple job options. Like a worker can be used as admin assistant as well as a manager also, or a supervisor also. So individual events would be created for multiple jobs. Individual, when the employee will be submitting the time card for admin assistant manager would go for admin assistant, and for the other manager it will go for the other manager. All right, that is the feature that is there in independent events for job. Okay, you can do two jobs in Workday in a same company. For example, you are a supervisor and a team lead. You are entering time for two different buckets, and you have two different managers to report, like a dynamic team. Then this box needs to be checked. Okay, submit text. This is the standard thing that comes over here. You can submit the text whenever you're entering the time. This is something that is already there. All right, this is the general thing that we use. High volume confirmation text. If you want to have a text, like whenever you are submitting time for the mass entry, mass, like for all of the workers, you are submitting the time entry. And if you want a confirmation on that, you can have a confirmation text over here, like this is a confirmation text when you will get whenever the mass submit is completed. Okay. When mass submit is done, automatically all the task option comes to the local mechanic and she will have to do individually. Okay. But however, if she doesn't want to do individually, she can do mass operation management, which is mass approval. She can whatever after mass submit, automatically the time would get approved. That is known as mass approval. There is all tasks over in Workday. All right. There is a certifying test, if any text is there. This is something that we don't use. Auto mask for auto allow mask for auto fill from schedule. So this is something that we use when we are doing mass submit, when we are having a bulk submission or bulk entry. Okay. Mass auto fills from the schedule also. Whenever there is a schedule, then it is from work schedule. Okay. Now let's move to the daily totals. Okay. Okay, so daily totals, weekly totals. Where you see this on the time card of any worker. Okay, daily
Yeah.
totals and week. All right. So, for example, daily totals are displayed over here. 4 hours, 9 hours, 4 hours, 0 hours.
Okay.
Weekly totals are displayed over here. It depends on what name you give. For example, it is total project hours. I will say as test hours. Okay. You can have a ultimate number of 8 totals. Okay, there are
Okay.
8 labels you can have. For example, I added hours like uh, you have to add the calculation tag. Which calculation tag is responsible for that? All right, each time entry code. Now the important part comes into the picture. Each time entry code, like for example, project time. Okay, each time entry code has a default calculation tag. Okay, what it is actually responsible for carrying the hours for that
Okay.
specific time code. Okay, and this calculation tag is mapped with your payroll, absence, and everywhere. This is the most important part. You can tell interviewer that this is a transporter, okay, which transport hours from one area to another area. Example, it transport hours in your time entry template, it transport hours in your absence calculation, it transport hours in your payroll earning, okay, in your finance also, it transports the hours for the budgeting. So you give a default calculation tag and you play with this default calculation tag. All right. So for example, this project time hours, we we have added over here in calculation tags how many hours does it carries for a week would get automatically reflected for the project hours. Okay, all right, if I add over here regular, okay, whichever time entry code has a entry code as regular. Okay, let's see if any time entry code has a entry code as regular. Okay, for example, this in and out. Okay, I added an entry code regular. So whatever hours you will put over here, like for example, I added hours like uh, okay, you will see how things are changing dynamically. I added 10 a.m. I added 12 hours now. Okay. So these 12 hours are stored in your regular bucket, correct? Regular car. All right. I entered 12 hours. You will see those 12 hours will get reflected over here. Did you see project hours? 12 hours in and out. Okay. Regular hours. So now the 25 how it became. Regular hours 12. Regular hours 9. Where the values is getting stored? Regular. Correct? In and out time entry code. It has
Yes.
12 plus 9, 21. 21 plus 4, 25. 25 has been stored in this. Okay, if I remove regular from non-project hours or from the project hours, only project time will be shown in the project hours. Okay, you will see the difference. Now, how to see the difference? Okay, it will not automatically pop up. You go to the run calculation, you click OK, you'll see the magic. Okay, it's 25, it is 0 because no of the values are with project time. Okay, if I again enter another time like project time, I entered around 10 hours and it has regular code as project time. Okay, project time is mapped with project hours on the label. You'll see over here 10 hours. For example, if you are working overtime, you get a time in lieu. Okay. For example, if you're working more than 10 hours on a day and you will get a time in lieu. Okay. Correct. We will create
Yes.
a time calculation for that. That would be overtime calculation. Any hour which is passing 8 hours a day. Okay. All right. Those hours would be
Yeah.
captured, and those hours would be used in the time accrual. All right. That would be used as a accrual. Okay. Correct. So what we do, we would map. Let's take any PTO plan. Okay. View time of plan. Let's take Australian time in lieu. We get an Australian time in lieu. We click OK. Okay. Whatever hours which are getting more than 8, okay, that would be used in the time of plan as the accrual. Those hours would be used accrual. All right, so we'll go to the accrual. Whenever an employee is entering time and going beyond 8 hours, he will not get time in lieu right away. Depends on the requirement to requirement. My requirement is like whenever a worker is entering time and is going beyond 8 hours, those particular hours would be considered as a time in lieu balance. The general example. It is a general scenario. So what I would do, I would add my, all right, and whenever employee is entering time and that time has been submitted, it will be stored in this accrual, and here the employee can see this in the bucket and they can utilize it. This is the general scenario. It does happen in every day-to-day work. All right, so this is total time shift. This we would cover when we are doing the time calculation. Okay. What is project? When we are, this is the only area where it comes when we interact with time tracking with finance. Finance, when it involves finance module. When you enable this, you enable the project area with finance. This is the only way to enable finance interacting with time tracking. Enable time entry by project. Okay, that was
Okay.
the project time was just a time entry code. Okay, but it doesn't had any project values like project task, which sprint you are working, what is going on. You do it by this. And then required project role for time entry, display the phase and task. As I was stating, use high volume project prompts. This is a create independent events. For example, you are working on 2 or 3 projects. Every event would be independent to each other, mutually exclusive. Display
Okay.
project customer or entry time. And for example, if your customer, you are sending the data to the customer, you can have this, right? The names are straight
Okay.
enough. DPD2, we don't have any projects, okay, finance project, so you won't be able to see it. But yeah, any financial clients, if they want to use time tracking for the finance, they need to enable this. That is mandatory. And it says that whenever this part is checked, it will automatically apply project time automatically. All right. So that is new thing. This is a new thing that is attestation. This is actually for the meal breaks, meal validation, and if you want to have a uh, meal rule, for example, in California you have a 5 hours meal rule, 2 hours meal rule, 1 hour meal rule. Okay, you can have a rule set for that. This is the new feature that has come up with Workday, known as attestations. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So we are not going to cover this because this is no has not been implemented yet properly. This is there in the test environment. We are actually facing a lot of customers are facing a lot of issues right now on this, and this is the new feature. But I'll give you the overview like what is the basic rule for that. For example, meal length rule is 60 minutes. You will have, are you sure you want to check back early and all those areas, like this is a new thing. I'll cover it later on this. Okay, what is attestation means? This is basically for the meal rule. Okay, break rule, how much break you can have. Okay, you can have a set of rules for your employees. uh, the validation one, how many hours you can take, how many hours you can be away, and that is the reason attestation portion has been entered. Local settings, localization settings means if you're using Workday mobile, okay, and if you want to, if you're entering time, uh, for example, near your work area, if you want to enter time, and if I have configured the latitude, longitude, and radius of your office area, okay, then if I'm making any entries in my time, it will automatically take the value. But however, if I'm making the entries at my home and trying to be there in the office, it will not. Okay. Geofence for mobile time entry. Okay.
Okay.
You need to mention the latitude, longitude, and radius.
Uh-huh.
That is so. That is the function of location settings. Eligibility. Who are eligible for that? Worker eligibility,
Okay.
validation group. Validation group means the whole group who are responsible for the error. Okay, who would be responsible? So we can create a global validation group where all the validation which is there for the whole employee section for this worker eligibility would be popped. For example, day is a holiday when you're entering time more than 24 hours would create an error. So this is something. This is the last topic that we're gonna do is time entry validation. Validation in the time entry is like showing errors, custom errors, and
Okay.
we do have a different section for that that is known as maintain time entry validation. However, I
Okay.
wanted to do one more thing for you. You see all these areas,
Mm-hmm.
quickie ad and all those things. So
Yeah.
even if you mention all these yes in your screen, but however, all the employees will not be able to view it, or all the employees will not be able to see this because the security rule is not been mentioned for those particular tasks. Who can submit time, who can micro edit, you have to mention the security loop. Autofill from prior week, I gave employee as self, manager also. Autofill from schedule employee, clear access, also quickly add access. You need to mention the security over here, then they can adjust calculator time, payroll partner and time tracking admin, run calculations. You need to mention over here all the areas, all the things that you see over here in the time entry template. Until and unless those security rules has not been given over here, there, it will not be seen over there. All right.